the silent theft, why your morning meal is accelerating muscle loss and stealing your independence. If you are over 60, perhaps you have noticed that the stairs feel steeper than they used to, or that your legs just do not carry you with the same confidence and spring. You might think, well, this is just aging. But here is the shocking truth. A large part of this strength decline is not inevitable. It is an avoidable condition known as sarcopenia, the gradual, silent theft of muscle mass and strength that happens with age. This is not a trivial concern about looking toned. It is about protecting your independence. Your muscles are an active, vital organ system that regulates your entire metabolism, protects your joints, and keeps your balance sharp. When muscle breaks down, a chain reaction of frailty begins. Balance declines, metabolism slows, insulin resistance creeps in, and the risk of catastrophic falls, fractures, and losing your self-sufficiency rises sharply. In fact, after the age of 60, research shows that people can lose up to 1% of their total muscle mass every single year unless they intervene. But here is the critical piece of information most people get wrong, the mistake that's actively accelerating this decline. The very first meal you eat in the morning can either fuel this decline or completely change its trajectory in as little as 24 hours. You are standing at a physiological crossroads every time you eat breakfast, determining whether your body is in muscle breakdown mode or muscle building mode. Stay with me, because if you continue to make this one common mistake, you are missing the single most powerful daily opportunity to protect your health and longevity. By the end of this, you will have a clear, actionable protocol you can apply tomorrow morning to start reversing this process and build the resilience you need to thrive. The core mistake most older adults make is rooted in a misunderstanding of the anabolic threshold, the minimum level of amino acids required to flip your muscles' building switch. Many individuals still eat healthy foods like eggs, meat, or dairy, but they load most of their protein at dinner, leaving breakfast light with something like toast, coffee, or a small bowl of cereal. That pattern sets the stage perfectly for sarcopenia because your muscles have developed what's called anabolic resistance with age. They are less sensitive to small amounts of protein. Think of your muscles as a car engine. If you only give the key a weak turn, the engine won't start, it just clicks. To get the full ignition spark, you need a critical dose of protein, typically around 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein rich in the amino acid leucine, to activate the process called muscle protein synthesis. Leucine is the absolute key. It is an essential amino acid found abundantly in whey protein, eggs, and lean poultry. And when its levels spike in the blood, it triggers a powerful pathway inside the muscle cell known as mTOR, mechanistic target of rapamycin. mTOR acts like the foreman of a construction crew. When it gets the leucine signal, the workers rush in and begin building new muscle protein. Without that signal, the crew stands idle, no matter how many raw materials are floating around later in the day. This is why a simple breakfast swap, say 3 whole eggs plus a scoop of quality protein powder, can deliver the approximately 3 grams of leucine needed to fully activate mTOR, literally flipping your entire system from a morning of deficit into a day of rebuilding. Beyond just the quantity of protein, we must address the insulin trap, because the morning meal is the most important time to get this hormonal response right. Most people think of insulin only in the context of blood sugar, but it is one of the most powerful levers that determines whether your muscles are nourished or starved. When you consume a high-carbohydrate breakfast, think bagels, cereal, muffins, or even excessive fruit juice, your blood sugar spikes quickly, forcing your pancreas to pump out large amounts of insulin to clear the sugar. While this sounds fine, high insulin acts like a traffic cop, waving all incoming sugar into the fat storage lane, simultaneously shutting down fat burning and making your muscle cells less responsive to growth signals. Over time, this constant high insulin state leads to insulin resistance, making muscles less able to absorb the building blocks they need. The key is to control that morning spike so your muscles stay sensitive and responsive. This means consciously swapping high glycemic foods for options that balance protein, fiber, and healthy fats. Instead of white toast, choose a protein-rich base like Greek yogurt or an egg scramble, pairing it with fiber from chia seeds, flax, or vegetables, and healthy fats like avocado or walnuts. This strategic fueling keeps insulin levels steady, priming your metabolism so that when you do introduce healthy carbohydrates later in the day, ideally around physical activity, your muscles use them for powerful fuel instead of your body storing them as fat. Moreover, if you want strong, resilient muscles, you have to address the silent eroder of muscle health: chronic, low-grade inflammation. Most people associate inflammation only with injury or arthritis, but after 60, a quiet cellular storm of inflammatory molecules called cytokines is constantly interfering with your muscles' ability to respond to growth signals. It is like trying to build a house in the middle of a continuous rainstorm. Even if the crew, protein, is ready, the environment slows everything down. This is why simply eating protein is not enough. The inflammatory environment must be calmed. The good news is that certain breakfast foods deliver powerful anti-inflammatory nutrients that act like a protective coating for your muscle fibers, preventing them from fraying over time. One of the most potent is omega-3 fatty acids, found in foods like smoked salmon, chia seeds, and walnuts, which research shows actually increase your muscles' sensitivity to protein. By starting your day with a smoked salmon and avocado omelet, for example, you are combining high-quality protein with omega-3 fats and anti-inflammatory monounsaturated fats. You can also add colorful berries for antioxidants like anthocyanins, or incorporate spices like turmeric with black pepper for absorption into your morning eggs or smoothie. These nutrients lower the background storm, allowing the muscle repair and building process to finally happen efficiently and consistently. To ensure your legs have not just strength but also endurance, we must look beyond the muscle fiber itself to the tiny energy factories inside them, the mitochondria. These microscopic structures produce ATP, the currency of energy that powers every contraction of your legs, and when they are sluggish, even simple tasks like walking across the room can feel exhausting. After 60, mitochondrial function naturally declines, resulting in fatigue, slower walking speed, and difficulty climbing stairs, all classic signs of sarcopenia. But here is the exciting part: specific nutrients in your breakfast can directly stimulate the creation of new mitochondria, a process called mitochondrial biogenesis. Think of your muscles as a city. If it is running on a handful of old failing power plants, there are constant blackouts. If you build new, clean energy plants and fuel them well, the city thrives. The key fuel sources are polyphenols, plant compounds found in blueberries, pomegranates, and green tea, which stimulate a key regulator that starts the new power plant construction. Pairing a leucine-rich protein shake with a handful of blueberries and using green tea as the liquid base, for example, delivers protein, muscle-building signals, and the polyphenol fuel for your energy factories all in one meal. If you want strong legs and lasting energy after 60, you must think about fueling these tiny cellular engines with nutrient-dense foods in your first meal of the day. Crucially, timing matters as much as the contents of your meal, especially because your body's internal clock or circadian rhythm becomes more sensitive with age. In the morning, cortisol naturally rises, priming your body for activity and making it the perfect window for nutrient absorption and muscle activation. When you eat protein early in the day, you ride this powerful hormonal wave, amplifying muscle protein synthesis and stabilizing blood sugar more effectively than if you eat the same meal later. If you skip or delay protein until late morning or afternoon, you miss that peak window and your muscles remain understimulated for the entire day. Think of it like planting seeds. If you plant them first thing in the morning with plenty of sunlight, they sprout and grow strongly. Studies consistently show that front-loading your protein, aiming for your 25-30 grams at breakfast, and eating within 1 to 2 hours of waking provides unique benefits for older adults, maintaining significantly higher rates of muscle building throughout the day. Conversely, because insulin sensitivity declines by evening, the same amount of carbohydrates that fuels your muscles at 8 a.m. is more likely to be stored as fat at 8 p.m. By aligning your first high-protein, nutrient-dense meal with your natural circadian rhythm, you are dramatically changing how your body utilizes nutrients, securing more strength and energy for the rest of the day. Finally, the real magic for rapidly reversing sarcopenia after 60 comes when you combine your strategic breakfast with the right kind of movement. Food alone is not enough, and exercise alone is not enough. You need the two gears to interlock and create a powerful synergy. Think of it this way: the leucine-rich protein is the bricks, the raw materials, and the resistance exercise provides the construction permit, a signal called mechanical tension. When you perform even light resistance movement, such as simple bodyweight squats, step-ups, or resistance band work, your muscles send a signal telling your body exactly where to send those amino acids. Without that permit, the bricks just pile up, underutilized. But with it, they are immediately directed into your leg muscles, where they knit together into stronger fibers, a process that can begin building strength within just one day. Research confirms that older adults who consume protein after performing light resistance exercise double their rates of muscle protein synthesis compared to protein alone. Therefore, your actionable protocol should be simple. First, consume your protein-rich, low-glycemic breakfast. Second, move your legs within 60 to 90 minutes. This could be 2 sets of chair squats, 5 minutes of stair climbing, or a brisk 10-minute walk. This synergistic combination provides the building blocks and the blueprint, helping you restore muscle and resilience that feels younger, stronger, and more resilient with every week. The insulin trap, stabilizing your hormones for muscle health. While most people associate insulin primarily with diabetes, it is one of the most powerful hormonal levers that determines whether your muscles are properly nourished or slowly starved, and breakfast is the most critical time to get this signal right. When you consume a typical high-carbohydrate breakfast, think cereal, bagels, muffins, or fruit juice, your blood sugar spikes quickly, forcing your pancreas to pump out a large flood of insulin to clear the sugar. On the surface, this sounds like your body doing its job, but here's the problem. Especially after 60, high insulin does more than just push sugar into fat storage. It also shuts down fat burning and makes muscle tissue less responsive to the growth signals we just discussed. Over time, your cells can become insulin resistant, meaning they ignore the insulin, and your muscles sit idle while your fat storage system keeps growing. Think of insulin like a traffic cop. When traffic, sugar is heavy, the cop waves it all into the fat storage lane to prevent chaos. If you keep the cop on duty all day with sugary meals, your muscles rarely get the building blocks and energy they need. The key is to control the morning spike so that your muscles stay highly sensitive and responsive. Research confirms that older adults who eat a high-protein, lower-carbohydrate breakfast maintain better insulin sensitivity and greater muscle protein synthesis compared to those who start the day with refined carbs. The fuel you choose at 8 in the morning sets the hormonal tone for the next 12 hours. To apply this, you must swap high glycemic foods for low glycemic, nutrient-dense options. Trade the white toast for eggs. Trade the cereal for Greek yogurt paired with fiber from chia or flax seeds. If you enjoy fruit, always pair it with your high-quality protein and healthy fats like avocado or walnuts, as the fiber and fat slow the absorption of sugar, keeping your insulin controlled and your muscles primed to absorb nutrients. The hidden accelerator, calming chronic inflammation. Here is something that often goes unmentioned in the conversation about muscle loss: the silent, destructive force of low-grade chronic inflammation. You might only think inflammation matters if you have arthritis or an injury, but the reality is that a constant, low-level internal storm is quietly eroding muscle tissue every single day after 60, acting as a hidden accelerator of sarcopenia. When inflammation is high, your immune system releases signaling molecules that directly interfere with your muscle's ability to respond to growth signals, meaning you can eat all the protein in the world. But if the inflammatory environment is not calmed, the muscle cannot fully respond. It is like trying to build a house in the middle of a continuous windstorm. The crew is ready, but the elements slow everything down. Fortunately, certain breakfast foods deliver powerful anti-inflammatory nutrients that directly support muscle health. The best studied are omega-3 fatty acids, which don't just reduce inflammation but also increase the muscle's sensitivity to anabolic signals, essentially making your muscle tissue more listenable to the protein you consume. To put this on your plate, think about starting your day with a smoked salmon and avocado omelet, combining high-quality protein, omega-3s, and anti-inflammatory monounsaturated fats. Another powerful option is topping your Greek yogurt with chia seeds and blueberries. The seeds are rich in plant-based omega-3s, and the blueberries are packed with anthocyanins, compounds shown to reduce oxidative stress right inside the muscle cells. Do not overlook the power of spices like curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, which is one of nature's most potent anti-inflammatory agents. Adding turmeric, always with a pinch of black pepper for absorption, to your morning eggs or protein smoothie is a simple yet profound way to lower the background storm and allow the muscle-building process to finally happen. Fueling the power plant's mitochondrial strength. The strength in your legs is not just about the size of your muscle fibers, it is fundamentally about the energy factories inside those fibers, known as mitochondria. These microscopic structures produce the currency of energy, called ATP, that powers every single contraction of your quadriceps, hamstrings, and calves. After 60, mitochondrial function naturally declines, resulting in fewer energy factories per cell and less efficient fuel burning. This is why you feel that fatigue, slower walking speed, and difficulty climbing stairs. It is a classic sign of sarcopenia driven by low power. Think of your muscles as a city. If the city is running on only a handful of old failing power plants, there are constant blackouts. But if you build new, clean energy plants and supply them with high-quality fuel, the city thrives. The exciting news is that certain nutrients in your breakfast can directly stimulate the creation of new mitochondria, a process called mitochondrial biogenesis. What fuels these power plants? First, polyphenols, potent plant compounds found in foods like blueberries, pomegranates, and green tea, which stimulate a key regulator that tells your muscle cells to start building new power plants. Second, nutrients like coenzyme Q10 and carnitine, found in high-quality meats and fish, help mitochondria burn fat more efficiently for energy. And finally, the high-quality, leucine-rich protein we discussed earlier supports mitochondrial health indirectly because when muscle grows, the power plants adapt and expand to meet the energy demand. A powerful breakfast for your mitochondria might be a spinach and blueberry protein smoothie, blending whey or plant protein with a handful of spinach, a cup of blueberries, and green tea as the liquid base. This delivers protein, leucine, antioxidants, and the critical polyphenols all in one power-boosting meal. If you want strong legs after 60, you must think beyond the fibers and actively feed the tiny engines inside them. The timing secret, leveraging your circadian rhythm. It is a common error to believe that what you eat is the only thing that matters. In reality, when you eat can be just as important, especially after 60 when the body's internal clock or circadian rhythm becomes more sensitive. Your circadian rhythm naturally raises cortisol in the morning to wake you up and mobilize energy, creating the absolute perfect window for nutrient absorption and muscle activation. When you strategically eat protein early in the day, you ride this natural hormonal wave, amplifying muscle protein synthesis and stabilizing blood sugar. If you skip breakfast or delay that critical protein dose until the afternoon, you miss the peak window and leave your muscles understimulated for most of the day. Think of it like planting seeds. If you plant them first thing in the morning with plenty of sunlight, they sprout and grow strongly. If you wait until the sun is setting, they barely take root. Furthermore, your body's insulin works far more efficiently in the morning because your circadian rhythm primes your cells to receive nutrients. By evening, that sensitivity declines, meaning the same serving of simple carbohydrates that fuels your muscles at 8 a.m. is more likely to be stored as fat at 8 p.m. This is why the common pattern of a light breakfast and a heavy dinner works against your biology and accelerates sarcopenia. The practical strategy is to front-load your protein. Aim for that 25 to 30 grams dose within 1 to 2 hours of waking to take advantage of your body's morning hormone profile, and then distribute the rest of your protein relatively evenly throughout the day. Your first meal should not be just coffee or toast at 10 a.m. It should be a strategic timed deposit of the highest quality nutrients. The final gear, pairing food with movement for synergy. Here is the final piece of the puzzle that creates the real magic for reversing sarcopenia. Food alone is not enough, and exercise alone is not enough. The maximum result comes when you combine the right breakfast with the right kind of movement, acting like two interlocked gears that build strength quickly. When you eat that leucine-rich breakfast, you flood your bloodstream with the raw materials, amino acids, for muscle growth. At the same time, when you perform even light resistance exercise, simple bodyweight squats, step-ups, or resistance band work, your muscles send a signal called mechanical tension. That tension acts like a construction permit, telling your body exactly where to send the circulating amino acids. Without that permit, the bricks are delivered but sit idle. With the permit, they are directed immediately into your leg muscles, knitting together into stronger fibers. Protein is the bricks, and movement is the workforce. Research has shown that older adults who consume protein after performing light resistance exercise can double their rates of muscle protein synthesis compared to protein alone. The wonderful news is that the exercise does not need to be extreme. A simple 15 minutes of chair squats or climbing stairs is enough to amplify the signal significantly. The actionable strategy is simple. Step 1. Eat your 25 to 30 gram protein-rich breakfast first. Step 2. Move your legs with light resistance or a brisk walk within 1 to 2 hours to turn on the construction permit and increase blood flow. By consistently combining the strategic fuel with the precise signal, you are training your muscles to respond better over time, creating a synergy that can begin restoring measurable leg strength within just 1 day. Conclusion: reclaiming your strength and resilience. Sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle, is not some inevitable sentence you must accept after 60. What the science shows is that you hold the power to begin reversing it in as little as 24 hours, and it all starts with the very first meal you choose. By combining these 6 strategic steps, hitting the anabolic threshold with 25-30 grams of leucine-rich protein, stabilizing insulin with a low glycemic protein-centered meal, calming inflammation with omega-3s and spices, fueling the cellular power plants, mitochondria, with polyphenols, front-loading your nutrition to leverage your body's morning circadian rhythm, and multiplying the entire effect by pairing your breakfast with light resistance movement, you create an environment where your muscles cannot help but grow stronger. This means stronger legs for climbing stairs and carrying groceries, steadier blood sugar and metabolism, and less fatigue because your body is running on new, efficient power plants. Most importantly, it means protecting your independence and resilience so you can keep doing the things you love well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Try just one change tomorrow morning. Maybe swapping your cereal for a protein-rich omelet or following your smoothie with 10 minutes of stair climbing. And notice how your energy, strength, and focus feel by the end of the day. Remember, aging is inevitable, but decline is not. Your breakfast can either feed sarcopenia or fight it. Choose to fight, choose strength, and choose to start tomorrow morning.